In this screencast, we will install Python, specifically the version 3 of Python. First, we'll open a web browser. We're going to use Firefox, so we see the Firefox icon on the taskbar, and we click on it with the left mouse button. Up comes Firefox. I'm going to make the window just a little bit bigger. I'm going to check a few settings. These should already be set, and a previous screencast showed how to make these settings, but I'll do a quick check. We'll check. We have a menu bar here, just like we like it. And I'm going to check under Tools and under Options and see where downloaded files will be saved to. Okay, when Firefox starts, show my home page. Well, that's okay, but I prefer to have it show a blank page. Download. Show the downloads window when downloading a file. Yes, that's just how we want it. Close it when all downloads are finished? No, I like to leave it up because we may want to do something with that file, and the downloads window is a convenient place to find the file. Here it's set to save files to the downloads directory. Let's don't do that. Instead, let's click this radio button. Always ask me where to save the files. If I choose to, of course, I can say, sure, go ahead, save it to the downloads directory. But sometimes I want to save it somewhere else, so I'd like it to ask me about that. Okay, I've made the key changes that I like. Let's click OK. To install Python, we'll first go to the main Python web page, which is python.org. Here's the official Python site, and it has links to various versions of Python. I'm going to make this just a little bigger. We want to install version 3. Now notice that there are some quick links to version 2.7.3. That's not the one we want. Here are quick links to version 3.2.3. So this is the version 3 that we're looking for. Now, since we're showing how to install it on Windows, we want the Windows installer. So let's just take this quick link. We'll just use the left mouse button and click on Windows Installer. You have chosen to open, and it gives a file name here that ends in .msi. This is just what we want. We're going to save this file. Click on that Save File button. Now we get a file browser that invites us to choose where we're going to save it. It's already set to download it to the downloads directory within my home directory. And this is a perfectly acceptable place to download it, so let's download it there. Now, you may notice there's already a file named Python 3.2.3. I had previously downloaded the file. Nevertheless, we're going to go through it again. Python 3.2.3, Windows Installer Package. Click on the Save button. It already exists. Do you want to replace it? Well, you wouldn't have that because you hadn't downloaded it previously. But I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Let's let it download again. Here we see the Firefox Downloads window and the progress bar as it's downloading the file. Okay, it's finished. It's ready to go. Now, because we have Firefox leave the downloads window up after downloading, we don't even have to open a file browser to find this file inside the file browser. Nevertheless, I'm going to show you how to do it. If you want to open the file browser to find this file, you would right-click on the Start icon. You choose Open Windows Explorer. When this comes up, you will navigate down to the Downloads directory. Well, all right, maybe you didn't remember that it was in the downloads directory. Maybe you don't remember where you put it, but you remember the file name started with Python. We can search for it by clicking here in the search box. Search, it says search libraries, but let's get back up. Let's back up to the computer. We'll search the whole computer. Search computer for, we know it started with Python. Let's suppose we don't remember the rest of the name. Of course, we know the name. We're looking at it right here. It's Python-3.2.3.msi. But suppose we didn't know that. We're going to search for Python. Right away, it found it. It's in the C drive under the directory named users, under my home directory named Frank. Your home directory would probably be named something else. Within my home directory, it's in the downloads directory. Well, all right, that's what we want. So we found it. We can double-click here, or we could have double-clicked here. But let's double-click here and see what happens. The file's full name ended in .msi. This did not show the .msi, but we'll fix that later. Do you want to run this file? Yes, we do. We click on the Run button. Preparing to install. Select whether to install Python 3.2.3 for all users of this computer. Yes, install for all users. Basically, we're going to try to take all the defaults. We'll try not to change anything that it suggests. Click on Next. Select Destination Directory. It would like to put it in the Python 32 directory, and that's exactly where we want to put it. So we accept that default. We click Next. By the way, you should make note of where that directory was, because if you install a newer version of Python, perhaps Python 3.3 something, it may want to put it in a Python 3.3 directory, and that's perfectly okay too. Just make a note of where it's going to install it. Well, what features do we want to install? Take them all. This feature requires 22 megabytes. That's just fine. If you really had a space problem on your hard drive, you could leave out a few things. We'll install it all. Click Next. Do you want to allow the following program to install software on this computer? Yes, we do. Click Yes. Now it's copying the files and doing whatever it's going to do to install all the files. We just let it do it. All right. It's finished installing. We just click the Finish button. Okay, we've now installed Python, so that concludes this particular screencast on how to install Python.